This video is on common issues with cabling. There are issues that arise when dealing with cables. As network admin, you should know the common issues with cabling. First, we have attenuation. It refers to the weakening of data signals as they travel through a medium. All media have recommended lengths at which the cable can be run. The reason is that data signals weaken as they travel further from the point of origin. If the signal travels far enough, it can weaken so much that it becomes unusable. The weakening of data signals as they traverse the medium is called attenuation, and the measurement of it is done in decibels. Thus, attenuation is also known as decibel loss. Network media vary in their resistance to attenuation. Coaxial cable generally is more resistant than unshielded twisted pair. Shielded twisted pair is slightly more resistant than unshielded twisted pair. And fiber optic cable does not suffer from attenuation. You have to understand attenuation or chromatic dispersion and the maximum distances specified for network media. Exceeding the medium's distance without using repeaters can cause hard to troubleshoot network problems. Most attenuation-related or chromatic dispersion-related difficulties on a network require using a network analyzer to detect them. Also, depending on where network cabling is installed, interference can be a major consideration. Two types of media interference can adversely affect data transmission over network media: EMI and crosstalk. Electromagnetic interference or EMI can reduce or corrupt signal strength, and this can happen when cables are run too close to everyday office fixtures like computer monitors, fluorescent lights, elevators, microwaves, and so forth. Next, we have incorrect pinout. Most splits in a cable are intentional, enabling you to run the wiring in multiple directions with the use of splitter. However, it is also not uncommon for splitters to go bad. You should split the cables as few times as possible and check the splitter if the problem in a run that was normally working suddenly occurs. Next is bad port. On a router, port configuration dictates what traffic is allowed to flow through. The router can be configured to enable individual port traffic in, out, or both, and is referred to as port forwarding. And if port is blocked, the data will not be allowed through and users gonna be affected. In addition to common issue of miswiring, other problems that can occur with cables include open short faults. An open fault means that the cables are not making a full circuit. This can be due to a cut in the cable. A short fault means that the data attempts to travel on wires other than those for which it was intended. This can be caused by miswiring or twist in the cabling at a cut allowing the bare wires to touch. Hubs and switches provide LEDs, light-emitting diodes, that provide information on the port status. For instance, by using LEDs, you can determine whether there is jabbering network card, whether there is proper connections to the network device, and whether there are too many collisions on the network. Next, we have incorrect transceivers. When you troubleshoot SFP or GBIC, you need to make sure that you do not have a bad or mismatched transceiver. It sounds simple, but it is important to verify that you're using the single mode fiber with a single mode interface and a multi-mode fiber cable for a multi-mode interface. Such a fiber type mismatch can cause physical link to go completely down. Next, we have port speed and duplex settings. They are adjusted in Windows in the network properties area. Speed and duplex mismatches can slow data rates to crawl and prevent high bandwidth applications from being possible. You have several choices for port speed and duplex setting. You can choose auto negotiation to detect the setting that the network uses. You can also choose one of the other settings to match the network configuration, such as 100 Mbps half duplex. If you work with a client system that is unable to log onto the network, you might need to ensure that the duplex setting and port speeds are correctly set for the network. Two primary cables can be used on the Ethernet network: straight through cable and a crossover cable. In a crossover cable, two pairs of the wires are reversed. These are the TX and RX pairs, transmit and receive. The crossover cable is intended to be used in specific applications and will cause problems when used where a straight-through cable is called for. Then we have dirty fiber cables, which can cause slowdown in traffic due to the need to be able to clearly transmit light. Dirty can be caused by exposure to liquids, dust, or other contaminants. Alcohol can be used if wet cleaning is necessary.